So she's just going to walk him a little bit so that he gets used to all of the people and he calms down a little bit. Now what we're going to start with is we're going to start with some lateral moves. Now why are we starting with lateral moves? Because when you ask a horse to cross his legs, he will bring his back up underneath him, which will ask him to bring his nose down, and will ask him to come into a frame without using your hands. That's the whole goal. We want the horse to bend and supple and come into frame without using our hands, right? So we're going to ask Nancy to come down center line, and we're going to try a little leg yield, which she's going to kill me for, because the leg yield is Nancy's nemesis. She hates the leg yield. She does great shoulder ins, the leg yields, she wants to kill me for. So I'm going to make her do them just to be mean. Now she's going to ask him to go straight, and then she's going to ask him gently to move off her leg. Not bad, Nancy. Lift off your leg, you didn't use your hands. Very good. Now release. You'll notice every once in a while Nancy will close the fingers on her hands, right? That's to talk to him. But she'll let go right away. She doesn't want to hold him. An important thing to keep in mind is you never want equal pressure in both hands. If you're holding your horse with both hands like this, your horse is going to lay on you, and you're going to be lifting your horse instead of your horse carrying itself. The minute the horse pulls against you, he's working the opposite muscle you want to develop. So Nancy's going to ask him now just to flex to the inside by using a little inside hand and then letting go. I want you to let it go with the bigger, exaggerate a little bit so people can see what we're doing. Now good, now flex him a little bit more and then let it go. Good boy. Now you'll notice when does Sulpicio come down to the bit? When she lets go, not when she takes, right? So we're going to have her switch directions. Quick thing, I asked her to do a flexion. Now I don't know how many people here know the difference between a flexion and a bend. A bend starts at the dock, goes to the pole. The bend is from the whole body, that's bend. A flexion starts at the pole and it involves nothing but the head. The neck does not bend in a flexion. The body and the shoulder do not. It is simply a tiny little move, but yes, Nancy, flexing his head so that you can see his inside eye. Just like that. Now she's going to flex it to the outside, just briefly. Good boy. Flex it back to the inside. Now what this is doing is this is asking him to release tension in his pole and his jaw. The French method is about using exercises and patterns to achieve what we're asking from the horse instead of using force. We're going to use the flexion to get the horse to soften and go to the bit rather than pulling on it with our hands, trying to get him to go down to the bit. We're going to ask him that. We're going to use our shoulder in to ask the horse to step underneath himself better. And Nancy is going to ask Sulpicio now for a shoulder in. She warms him up with the flexion, soften that inside rib case. Ask for the bend and let him go. Use the leg, not hand. Use more leg, less hand. Good, good. He's going, can I try now? He's a little high energy, this one. Good boy, good boy. Now you'll notice Nancy's doing a 4-track shoulder in much of the time. The 4-track shoulder in asks the horse to step underneath himself with his inside hind leg. That motion right there is what builds the abdomen muscles, the back muscles, and that engine, the cycle in the haunch. So you can do a 3-track shoulder in when you're showing, but a 4-track shoulder in will help build the muscles on your horse more quickly. You just need to make sure the bend is consistent from dock to pole, and that you're not holding it with your hands, but that you're getting it with your leg and seat. Good, Nancy. Good. Have us let him walk. Let him walk straight. Whenever you feel your horse tense up, when you do one of these suppling exercises, you have 2 choices. You can either stop doing it, move forward, or you can push the horse Now, which is the right one to do? This is one of the hardest things to do as a trainer, and all of you, when you ride your horses, are a trainer. Don't think for a moment that you're not. Every time you ride your horse, you train them. Whether you train them properly or whether you train them improperly, depends on what you do on the horse. So as a trainer, it's your job to ensure he has those muscles, right? So now what we're going to do, are we going to push him through when he gets stuck, or are we going to let him go? A lot of that depends on what you're asking. It depends on the horse, his age, his condition. If it's a young horse and they get stuck, you always push him forward. Stop asking, push him forward. Forward is always the most important aspect of a young horse. With a very educated horse like Simplicio, who knows what he's doing, and Nancy has owned and ridden him for many years, she may choose to push him through it. If it's being a little physically stuck and she feels she can push him through. If he's mentally just being a grump face and doesn't want to do it, then she really has to push him through it. Because he's not allowed to say, I don't want to do it just because I'm a grump. So we're going to ask that shoulder in again. One of the challenges is, can I get these horses to do what I want without any confrontation, right? Can we do it while keeping a nice happy thing? Because we want our horses happy and we want to be happy. So you have to balance all of those issues. Good. That's it, Nancy. A little more leg. Good. Good. Now you'll see he got stuck. She put a little more leg on him and said, keep going. And she pushed him through it. And he put his head back down and relaxed. Good. Let go of that inside hand. Thank you. And walk. We're going to change direction. We spend a lot of time at the walk. The reason I'm spending a lot of time at the walk right now is because most of you probably don't have a lot of understanding of the French classical method. And so I'm trying to show the basic exercises we do to start any horse or to warm up any horse. And then we'll go on to some of the more fun stuff with the canter and other moves like that later on. Ask for your shoulder in. I always warm up every horse, leg heels and shoulder ends, to make sure all of his muscles are nice and soft and supple before we ask him to do anything else. Good throw. Heel down. Ask with that hand. Push a little. If he gets really, really stuck, tap his shoulder lightly. Sometimes that helps him. Good. Okay. He's a little stuck in this direction. Ask him to just go forward. In this case, I'm asking her to take him forward because the stuck was more physical than mental. So I want him forward. I'm going to ask her to trot. Sometimes the trot will loosen up the horse. There we go. Good boy. Good, Nancy. Now you'll notice Nancy is posting. Many dressage riders you'll see never post. They always sit. I always warm up every horse posting so that he's in a canter mood today. So that their backs can warm up without our weight interfering with them. No matter how good you are as a seated trot, they're going to feel you sitting on them. So why not take a few minutes, post, let your horse's back swing and loosen up underneath you. Keep that leg nice and quiet, think knee down. That's it, Nancy. Now he's so Simplicio, as you can tell, is trotting out beautifully. Can I like it, he says. So we want Nancy to ask him to bring himself down to the bit a little bit more. It's one of the reasons why, breathe, Nancy, little tiny outside hand, little tiny rein back, tell him to collect himself back up. You don't want the extensions right now. Thank you. I know you want extensions. It's his favorite move. There we go. That's it. So what we want to do is we want to be able to ride Simplicio as well in the single as he is in the double, right? That's why we put him in the single for today's session, because it takes a little bit more finesse to get him to keep his nose down without that double reminding him. I made the job harder on Nancy. So we're going to ask to change direction, and we'll do our shoulder in as the trot. Release the hand, always release. Yeah. Use a little more shoulder. When you ask for your shoulder in, you don't need your hands, right? The shoulder in is asked, so things to the inside, straighten yourself up, thank you. By turning your shoulders where you want your horse's shoulders to be. It's as simple as that. You want your horse to do his shoulder in, turn like this, and the horse's shoulders will come to match yours. Remember that the horse's shoulders are your shoulders, the horse's hips are your hips, the horse's withers are attached to your belly button. How you manipulate your body will manipulate the horse's body without you relying on hands. He's getting a little strong, so we're going to ask for that shoulder once again. Nancy made the right choice in stopping the shoulder in. Keep that leg long. You don't need to bring your leg back to the shoulder, Nancy. Keep it right where it is. Thank you. Good. Good. Good boy. Always tell him he's good when he does something right. He is a stallion, and like all men, he needs constant encouragement. Good boy. Sorry, there's a spot where I have feedback. Try to stay away from it. And we're going to change direction and ask him to do his shoulder in the other direction. Left hand, shoulder, bring that leg where you want it, yes, right there, good, better, good Nancy. Good, there you go. Now release as much as you can with that inside hand, don't throw away the outside hand. One of the misconceptions of French dressage is that we throw our hands away. No, we don't. We just don't ever hold them. We want our outside hand to have a nice, soft, light, steady feel. It's just never stiff or static. It's always dynamic. The inside hand is even lighter. And we give. Ideally, you want a little loop in that inside rein so that the horse is holding himself of his own accord. That's how he builds his muscles, by holding himself. If you hold him, you're building the muscles, not him. We don't want that. Okay, Nancy. All right, Nancy, you can trot forward post and let him stretch his legs a little bit because he's going, help. Now, that was his reward. He was being very good, and he was doing what Nancy wanted, so we let him do his little, that was his little extension. We let him do those. Okay, now we can, are you happy now, Suki? That's how we reward him. We let him do his extensions because that's his favorite move. Okay, tell him he's had enough. He needs to drop. Okay, place. The move I've been working on with Nancy is the next move that we use in our lateral school. As I said, the French method is based on using patterns and figures to achieve the conditioning we want on the horse. The moves you do in dressage, most people aren't aware of this, but you don't do the moves as the goal. They're not the goal. They're a means to the goal. The goal in dressage is having a perfectly balanced and even athletic horse. It's creating the perfect horse ballet dancer. That's what we want, right? So all of the moves we do that we work so hard to achieve in order to impress the judges at our shows are really not the goal. You don't do a shoulder in because the shoulder in is the goal. You do the shoulder in because of the athletic benefits it is to the horse. It's an exercise, it's a gymnastics that you use with your horse. People overlook that. It's the same with the patterns. Why do you do 20-meter circle? It's not because some person sitting somewhere in an office said, I think we should make all dressage riders ride a 20-meter circle. It's because being able to keep a steady, consistent bend. Nancy, why don't we trot a little 20-meter circle? Riding a consistent 20-meter circle establishes a soft but consistent flexion and bend in the horse that helps them develop the suppleness necessary to carry themselves evenly. Right? Now you have to be, love this saying, you have to be straight on the circle. People look at me and go, you're nuts. But it means that the horse's front feet and back feet need to follow each other evenly. You can't have that butt swinging out or the shoulder swinging in or the neck swinging in, much better. Now when your horse gets this nice, soft, consistent 20-meter circle, we can then take that into a 15-meter circle, which is going to ask the horse to bend greater, ask him to reach under with his inside leg more. What does that do? It asks him to shift his center of balance a little bit further back and use himself more. It is asking for a tiny bit more collection. No hands, no pulling back, no compressing, no collecting from the front. It's the size of the circle and the correctness of the circle that asks the horse to learn collection. That's part of the French method, is using the shapes instead of using physical force, right? You can let him go straight now and change direction. We did that to the right, we're going to have to do it to the left, or Simplicio will say, I'm not even. I studied the German method for many, many years, and please believe me when I say I'm in no way dissing the German method. It's a beautiful method, and it works for many, many people on many, many horses. More power to them. I use many of the German techniques still to this day in my riding because they're good. A truly fine German rider, a truly fine classical German rider is a thing of beauty. I have just discovered that the French method works better with my horses and with my temperament. I tend to be a rather gentle person. My nickname is the Zen Master of Dressage. So I'm very much into the spiritual and emotional aspect of riding, and I find that the French method complements that. And my horses, whether they be my beautiful Iberians, or my wonderful American saddlebred, or my thoroughbred, appreciate the sensitivity of the method and the freedom the method gives them to express themselves. Good. Step knee down, heel down. Thank you. Okay. Now we're going to ask for the walk again, because I've been working with Nancy on the next lateral move. That is your haunches in, right? So we want our haunches in and our haunches out. Your red horse and your trackers. So Nancy is just learning them on him, so this should be fun. Go straight forward, Nancy. Straight forward, straight forward. You saw something that made him want to stop. At least this time it wasn't a pretty mare. We've seen a lot of them at the show. Make sure to go far enough away from the wall that you'll be able to do your haunches up. Now she's going to go straight. Straight first. And then she's going to ask him to bring his haunch to the inside by gently bringing her outside leg back. Watch your bend. You have the wrong bend. That's the most common problem you see, right? You see the bend change to the outside instead of staying to the inside. But Nancy, you're asking for more angle than you need. Let's go straight. And we're going to do that same move with less angle. All you want to do is ask the horse to offset his rear end to the inside. His shoulders should stay straight on the track, and the haunch should move to the inside. Straight on the track. Look at his look. Ask him to move that haunch to the inside. Little outside legs going, I'll let you. That was better, Nancy. Better. Keep him there, no more. Doesn't need more angle. Very good angles. Yes, good. Good. Very good, Nancy. Go straight. Nice step. I did order. I was going to ask her for the things she's just learned. So now, we're going to go up, away from the wall a little bit, because we're going to try our haunches out. Same thing she just did, shoulders straight, push his butt to the outside. Yes, Nancy. And he's got to, keep him straight, keep him straight. Now he's walking, you see how his front's on the diagonals? Thank you. Much better, Nancy. Straight forward. Push him forward a little to get short in his steps. You can see right there, he got a little short in his steps, started getting a little choppy. So what did we do? We said go forward. You can do no movement without forward impulsion. In every lateral movement you do, you must think forward first. Now she needs to ask, yes, ask him to go forward. Think of pushing his rear end to the outside a little bit. You're a little close to the fence. That's it. She goes, but I just got my haunches in so good. See? We have to show off our haunches in. I want the haunches out. Right? The opposite. Now, Nancy decided to try it by moving the shoulders instead of the haunch. Let's move the haunch instead of the shoulder. Shoulders stay straight. We'll try it one more time. To get it stuck, ask you to trot forward. Sometimes, as I said, you got stuck a little physically. I saw it happening. Nancy felt it. You're telling him to go forward. You can push for a confrontation if you want. You rarely win when you push for the confrontation. You can ask him to go forward, get him to relax, get him to use himself better again, then ask again. It's a better result for you and your horse, and once again, it's keeping with the principles of what the French method is about, lightness. We want happy, happy horses. We're going to change direction, Nancy. Something about Squeezio the last couple days. He has decided cantering is the only gait that exists. He has really been in this. If you ever rode his canter, you can't complain too much. It's so sad. Lovely thing in the world to ride. So it's very hard to make him stop if you don't want him to. But good, good. So we're going to try our little. Will he walk again, or does he need to just go forward, Nancy? No, I can't hear him. Forward. Okay. We're going to try a little haunches in this direction. This seems like very small detail work, but since most of you are dressage people, you understand that's a lot of what dressage is little detail work. Now, is his bend correct, Nancy? All right, so straighten him out, get his front legs straight on that track again. Yes, you can. Remember, he needs to stay straight on the track. This is the direction Nancy is going. He's a little stiffer up this side. It's harder to get the haunches in this direction. Let's try one more time. Think nice and forward, Nancy. Forward, shoulders forward. Just go forward right now. Forward, forward, forward. Bring your outside leg back. Outside leg. See if you'll just offset his haunch just a little tiny bit. Yes, yes, much better. Much better, Nancy. That's good. Go straight. That was much better. Remember to get the horse straight, forward, coming through. At the end, she's starting to lose the bend again. So what you want to do in a case like that is that when you get it and you get it right, when you've been working for it for a long time, don't try to hold it too long. They give you a few good steps, straighten them out, go forward and say, hallelujah, you are the smartest horse in the world. Reward, reward, reward. That way they know, ooh, if I do it right, I get to stop. And of course, we all know the best reward a horse gets is stopping. So now I think the best thing to do with Squeezio, since I know him pretty well, is we're going to work a little bit with his canter because he needs a little bit of this Iberian energy burned off. We're going to ask the canter. You can ask him to walk or to trot, whichever your horse is more comfortable with, or whichever you're more comfortable with. The idea to ask him to trot, if you saw my clinic yesterday, is to remember your 3-step transitions. Keep your legs nice and long. Keep that outside hand. Good. Go behind the earth. Right there. If he gets a little strong, you have 2 choices. Actually, 3 choices. You can let him run away with you. Not what I do, but okay. You can use your hands and try to pull him back really hard. Not, once again, a choice I would pick. Chances are he's going to toss his head and get even stronger on you. Another choice is to try rocking back your center. Use your corner. I want you in this next corner to rock yourself back, Nancy. Come, yeah. Oh, wasn't that lovely? It's exactly what I wanted. She rocked her way back. She used a lot of hand, and the horse came right back and actually so much that he actually trotted. That was a very, very good choice. It worked really well. Your other choice would have been to put him on a circle. Put him on a 20-meter circle. It's going to cause him to reach underneath himself a little bit more, and it's going to cause him to have to rebalance himself. The idea is whenever you feel your horse falling on your forehand, he was getting a little heavy on his forehand. Nancy decided to get him a little bit more on his butt by asking him to do a little rein back. You want to change directions, Nancy? Good boy. You'll notice that Nancy asks and gives, asks and gives. She doesn't. Keep the rhythm in your mind. That's it. Now that time he got a little stuck going forward, so she pushed him more forward. There you go. Now don't let his haunches fall in, Nancy. Rock him back in the corner. Put him on a circle if you need to. Because, okay. You getting a little strong on you? There. Now maybe he's got a little bit more of an attention span going here. He has been, this is his, I guess it's only his second time in the ring today. He was in here 3 or 4 times yesterday. He has one more time in here today. So Sulpicio is working very hard. You all appreciate the horses that come to these things. It's a very difficult situation for them. A bunch of people around them, a strange environment, mics, voices coming from heaven above. It's a very, very disconcerting for them. And Sulpicio is doing a really good job in a very stressful situation for a horse. All of the horses that come in and do this, I admire for their efforts. Not to mention the poor demo riders who get stuck being yelled at in front of a whole crowd of people. So, all right, I had to give Nance and Sulpicio just a little bit of a break. And now what we're going to work on is we're going to work on showing the French method and the use of what I covered in my clinic yesterday, which is transitions. Because when you ride a French transition, the release is the most important part of the transition. So we're going to ask, as I said yesterday in my clinic on transitions, every transition has 3 steps. It has a rebalance of the horse by rocking your weight back, essentially a little baby half up. An establishing of the bend, using your flexion to get the horse bent to the proper position. An ask for the new gait or direction, whichever transition you're doing, followed by that release. The release to allow the horse the room to do what you've asked, right? In the French method, you ask and give the horse the room to come through himself to do what you've asked, right? So we're going to ask for a trot. And if he gets a little stiff, just do a little flexion. Keep those legs long and soft, Nancy. Keep your back very, very soft, so that he doesn't feel any stiffness. Like, now we're going to ask for our downward transition from trot to walk by shifting our weight back slightly. A little bit too much hand there, Nancy, wasn't it? Okay, we're going to try that again. And see if we can do that without bringing our hands back at all. Now you might say, boy, this one's really picky. Those hands didn't come very far back. I could tell they came back because of Sulpicio. He told me the hands came back. Much better. Thank you, Nancy. That time, when she closed her fingers on those reins, she opened them quickly enough that he didn't hit them. We're going to ask for that again. Upward transition. Remember, in your upward transition, do the same thing. Rebalance your horse, establish the bend, ask for the new gait. Release him into his gait. But that was very nice. Nice and light. Thank you. Let's change directions, Nance. You will notice that I have not been talking to her when I asked her to have him go forward. I haven't told her to use a ton of leg or kick him or drive him to the seat or anything like that because we don't use those. Yes, you use your legs. Yes, you use your seat. In fact, that's what does all riding. But it's never a driving force in your riding. right? If you think of what you want your horse to do, and you put your body in the appropriate position, chances are your horse will do it as long as you don't do anything to get in his way. Sally Swift, one of the most brilliant instructors of all time, said it very quick, very beautifully: ask the horse and then get out of his way. And that is really the heart of the French method. She didn't go that when she wrote her centered riding, but it is very much what this is about. So we're going to now ask Simplicio for his trot with as little aid as possible.